Alright, there we go. Alright, guys. Welcome back in. Hey, this is Chuck Ott's Music Lounge from the 80s. So this is disco dancing in Moscow, but we're going to turn it off. And I hope you enjoyed that. Anyway, so I just spent about a half hour, 45 minutes pushing this along. And, you know, I look at it now and I go like, yeah, there's some nice visual weight in there. I've got some nice movement going on. I've got some things going back and some things coming forward. Am I totally happy with it? I think it get pushed along even farther. So let's break it down into some things. Let's think about, first of all, learning about surface undulation. Big time surface undulation there, mainly because the contrast is so high. So black and white's highest contrast you can have. Right? So boom, that's not black and white. That's a, you know, close but not and close but not. All right, so surface undulation there. Generating eye movement. The idea is that like values, there, all the darker range values, right? They group up, and they generate eye movement. So we can come in here, boom. There's tons of ways we can work through here, right? And if it's true for the darker values, it's truer for the lighter values. That generates eye movement too. And so if you have two like values that are white like that and high contrast on either side of them, well, that's not high contrast, but it's okay contrast. Then you go boom to boom, so you're jumping right across and then seeing things in between. So it's not necessarily a line that generates eye movement through the composition. Then there's visual weight and importance. So I'm looking at this and I'm going like, if you remember the first one, the thin paint, it just seemed like no, I don't know if I want to be here. And the values, because of how more opaque they are, how a little bit thicker the paint is, that starts to give it some visual weight and importance through here. Visual weight and importance also can happen because of contrast, right? And also importance, so movement. So if this movement in here was, the contrast is a little higher, that movement would take on visual weight and importance, all right? So we got surface undulation, eye movement, crispness and clarity we've been talking about off and on. So edges are really super important. And when I look through this guy, I go like, there's some sharp edges, like I'm fine with that edge, I'm fine with that edge there, but then there's other edges where I'm like, God, a little bit of fine tuning in here, and this guy would really take off. So having the right brush to do that is important. And so there's this, you guys should have got a flat, like a number 4 in your kit. And so that has a square corner on the front of it. And you can get in there and coax the paint up into the corner and just drop the brush in there and always pull back into the center so that you get that corner in there. That's what I wanted to say about this one. Oh, and here's the fun part. Let's do this together, right? This is when it really gets fun. Is when you start to take off the tape and you see what happens with the edges. That's always fun. So let's take off this up in here because, oh man, you think you got a good design going, and then you see this sharp edge along in here, and you go like, oh yeah, I need that to happen in the center of the design or in the center of the painting, right? So some of you guys have sent me images already. Cole did. Cole, thank you for sending me an image. Shout out to Cole. Don't know what I did there with that corner, but let's see if we can get this corner off. Oh, getting closer and closer. Okay, that's good. All right. Oh, let's see what happens along this one. Get off of me. All right. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. You see what I mean? Right? How crisp that is, and that takes on a super duper importance along there on that edge. Yeah, and I know what some of you guys are thinking. Can we tape in the middle? Yeah, you can, I guess, but it's always the challenge. I love the challenge. Plus, if this is sharp out in here and this is funky in the middle, that's another form of contrast, and that's another form of way of generating, visual weight, visual importance, interest, things like that. Yeah, there we go. There's a 2-inch border that's in there, and so when I cut this guy 2 inches, it's going to be really sharp. So what do you guys want to grade me on this? If you look at this video, before next Tuesday's meeting, right, you guys can give me a grade. So there it is. All right. Yeah, I might be tempted to go back into that also, to tell you the truth, because I see some possibilities there. Anyway, you know what? I'm wondering if you guys are having a good time in class. I hope you are. I hope everybody's learning something. I hope you're getting into it. And I also wonder this. I wonder if they're dancing disco in Moscow. We'll see you soon.